Everyone, meet your new classmate, the instructor announced, his voice echoing across the vast chamber. A hush fell over the classroom. Hundreds of alien cadets turned their glowing eyes toward the doorway, their expressions ranging from mild curiosity to outright amusement. She walked in, not with fear, not with hesitation, but with confidence that seemed almost impossible for a human in this alien academy. Her hair, dark and unruly, framed a face that radiated determination. Her eyes scanned the room, sharp and unflinching, taking in the alien faces and strange uniforms. Some of the cadets snickered. Some whispered. A few nudged each other. It was clear they had never seen a human like her before. They had expected something small, weak, and easily intimidated. They had expected a victim. They were wrong. The leader of the cadets, a tall, four-armed alien with iridescent skin, leaned back in his chair. His tentacles flexed as he whispered to his friends, "Watch this. Humans are fragile. Let's see how she handles us." At that moment, every human in the academy, there were very few, felt a flicker of fear. But this girl, she did not flinch. She walked to her desk, placed her bag down, and took a seat. Her posture straight, her gaze unwavering. The class started. Lessons on galactic politics, interstellar navigation, and advanced combat strategies filled the room. But the cadets had only one agenda: to humiliate her. They whispered insults in alien tongues, laughed at her mistakes, and tried every trick in the book to make her feel small. "Hey, a human," one sneered. "Is that all you can do?" The girl looked up. Her voice was calm, almost chilling. "I'm just getting started." A murmur of confusion ran through the cadets. They expected fear, they expected pleading. Instead, she said words that made their skin crawl, a promise that this would not be easy. She began answering questions with precision. She anticipated complex maneuvers before the instructor even explained them. She outperformed simulations that had taken cadets months to master. Every snicker, every insult, every attempt to humiliate her was met with calm confidence or clever counter. The leader of the cadets grew angry. He decided to escalate. Using his advanced abilities, he projected holographic illusions meant to intimidate and confuse her. Massive alien constructs, roaring and glowing, filled the classroom's air. The other cadets gasped, thinking she would falter. But the human girl only raised an eyebrow. With a flick of her wrist, she deployed her own counter-tech, a device she had designed herself. The illusions wavered, split, and collapsed, leaving the cadets stunned. "Is that all you've got?" she asked. Her tone was neither mocking nor cruel, but the weight of it made the aliens feel exposed. For the first time, the class felt a flicker of unease. The instructor, an ancient alien with 4 eyes and a voice like thunder, looked at her with curiosity. "Impressive," he murmured. "This human, she's unlike any we've seen." But the cadets would not give up. One of them tried a direct attack, a telekinetic push meant to knock her off balance. She sidestepped gracefully, using the momentum to launch a countermove that sent a controlled shockwave across the classroom. Chairs toppled, consoles sparked, and the cadets scrambled. Chaos erupted. Some cadets laughed nervously, unsure if it was a trick. Others froze, realizing that the human girl was no ordinary student. She was a force. She didn't stop. Every challenge thrown at her, she met with creativity, skill, and a precision that no alien had anticipated. Her reputation began to grow in minutes. Whispers replaced laughter. Eyes widened. Even those who had mocked her found themselves uneasy, realizing they had underestimated a human's potential. Hours passed. By midday, the cadets' attempts to humiliate her had failed repeatedly. Their strategies crumbled in the face of her intellect, her ingenuity, and her unshakable courage. The classroom, once a stage for their mockery, had become a proving ground, and she was proving more than just her ability to survive. She was rewriting the rules. The leader of the cadets, humiliated by his inability to dominate her, attempted one final stunt. He created a massive illusion of a collapsing star, a spectacle meant to terrorize the class and intimidate her into submission. The room filled with heat and light as the holographic supernova threatened to overwhelm everything. All eyes were on the human girl. They expected panic. They expected fear. Instead, she smiled. Calmly, methodically, she activated her own device. The illusion fragmented, redirected, and bounced back, engulfing the cadets' consoles in harmless bursts of light. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and the room shook. The cadets screamed and ducked for cover. The classroom fell silent. The human girl stood, her chest heaving slightly, her eyes blazing with determination. She looked around at the stunned cadets and said only one thing. Next time, think twice before underestimating a human. For the first time, the cadets understood something fundamental. This human girl was not weak. She was not fragile. She was not someone to be mocked or intimidated. She was clever, resourceful, and fearless. A human who would not yield to cruelty, no matter how advanced her alien classmates were. The instructor, observing the entire spectacle, finally spoke. Class dismissed. It was not a dismissal of lesson or lecture. It was a dismissal of arrogance, of underestimation, of cruelty. The class ended not because the bell rang, but because the human girl had rewritten the rules. In just a few hours, she had transformed a room full of mockers into witnesses of human ingenuity and courage. As the cadets filed out, whispers spread across the academy. Stories of her skill, her bravery, and her ingenuity would circulate for weeks, months, and perhaps years. She had not only survived, they had been humiliated. The classroom would never be the same, and she had just begun. The morning sun of the Alien Academy barely touched the classroom as students filtered in, buzzing with whispers about the human girl who had stunned them the previous day. Her actions had become the talk of the academy, how she had dismantled illusions, countered every prank, and humiliated even the most confident cadets. The cadets were not used to being humbled. Never in the history of the academy had a student, let alone a human, dared to challenge their authority. The leader, the four-armed cadet named Zorvok, was particularly furious. His pride had been wounded, and pride, in alien culture, was often answered with calculated revenge. He gathered a small council of top cadets. "We will not let a human mock us twice," Zorvok hissed, his tentacles twitching with anger. "She must pay publicly." Plans were drawn. Holographic projections lit up the chamber, showing intricate pranks, social traps, and psychological tests designed to humiliate the human girl before the entire class. Every cadet was assigned a role, from subtle whispering during lectures to activating holographic illusions meant to terrify and distract her. Meanwhile, the human girl, Maya, walked into class with her usual calm demeanor. She had heard rumors about today, about how the cadets were plotting, strategizing, scheming. She didn't flinch. Instead, she smiled faintly, her mind already analyzing potential strategies. The instructor, an ancient alien named Therian, started the lecture. He introduced complex interstellar navigation challenges, expecting chaos in the classroom due to the cadets' resentment. As predicted, the cadets struck. Subtle jabs, whispered insults, and mock calculations targeted Maya from every direction. One cadet tried a telepathic suggestion, hoping to sow doubt and confusion in her mind. Another manipulated her holographic interface to display incorrect coordinates. Yet Maya anticipated each move. Her eyes darted to the smallest anomalies. Her fingers flew across the control panel, and every error the cadets introduced was countered with speed and precision. She corrected the manipulated coordinates before any instructor noticed, leaving the cadets flustered and panicked. Zorvok's eyes narrowed. The subtle approach had failed. He called for the next phase, the illusions. The classroom transformed into a chaotic landscape of alien constructs, towering monsters, collapsing stars, and endless voids of fire. The cadets expected her to freeze, to panic, to falter. Maya, however, stood her ground. She pulled a compact device from her bag, an experimental counterprojector she had designed herself. With a flick of her wrist, the illusions fragmented, redirected, and exploded harmlessly, leaving the cadets blinking in disbelief. The leader tried one more tactic: social sabotage. He whispered lies to other cadets, telling them Maya had cheated in simulations, broken rules, and manipulated outcomes unfairly. He hoped the class would turn against her. But Maya was prepared. She had anticipated this move and produced her own evidence: logs, holographic timelines, and data sequences proving her every action was honest, precise, and ingenious. The cadets who had doubted her were now forced to admit the truth, their plan crumbling like ash and wind. Frustration turned to desperation. Zorvok attempted the final humiliation, a massive holographic storm meant to overwhelm the senses. The room filled with roaring waves of energy, spinning lights, and phantom creatures that seemed almost real. Maya, unshaken, deployed her device again. This time, it not only neutralized the illusion, but also reflected a harmless but spectacular light show toward the cadets themselves. Chairs toppled, consoles sparked, and a few cadets tripped over their own feet, looking foolish in front of the entire class. A stunned silence followed. Maya walked slowly to her desk, her expression calm, her eyes steady. "I suggest you think twice before underestimating humans," she said. Her words were soft, almost casual, but they carried a weight that made the cadets shrink in their seats. Even the instructor, Therian, who had seen countless battles and training exercises over centuries, raised a brow. "Remarkable," he murmured. "This human is unlike anything I have ever seen." The rest of the class began to whisper among themselves. Some cadets admired her ingenuity. Others, humiliated, fumed silently. The balance of power had shifted. For the first time, humans were not outsiders to be mocked. They were forces to be reckoned with. Zorvok, seething, realized that his attempts at revenge had backfired. Instead of submission, the human girl had turned every attack into an opportunity to showcase her brilliance. His plan to humiliate her had only elevated her. By the end of the day, the cadets were exhausted, not from the lessons, but from the constant mental and strategic challenges Maya had thrown back at them. She had not only survived, they had been outsmarted, outmaneuvered, and outclassed. When the instructor dismissed the class, the energy in the room had completely shifted. Maya had earned a quiet respect from some cadets and an unspoken fear from others. Zorvok realized one thing painfully clear. No matter what he or his friends tried, this human girl was unlike any cadet they had trained with. As the students filed out, whispers spread through the academy like wildfire. "Did you see how she handled the illusions?" One cadet murmured. "She didn't just survive, she made them look ridiculous." Another added, "She's a human, yes, but somehow she's smarter than all of us combined." And somewhere in the shadows, Maya smiled faintly. She had survived the day's attacks, outwitted the cadets, and proven something far more important. Humans were not weak, and she would not allow anyone to underestimate her again. The classroom had changed. The cadets had learned a lesson they would never forget. Mocking a human girl was not only foolish, it was dangerous. And for Maya, this was only the beginning. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new attacks, and new opportunities to show the academy exactly why humans were not to be underestimated. The following day, the academy buzzed with tension. Every cadet in the classroom knew the human girl was different. News of her cunning and skill had spread like wildfire. Whispers of her clever counters, her flawless maneuvers, and her ability to turn every prank back on the perpetrators filled the corridors. No one laughed now. Everyone watched. The instructor, Therian, entered first, his 4 eyes scanning the classroom. "Today's lesson," he began, "is advanced strategy and interstellar ethics. But I warn you, this will test every cadet's ability to adapt under pressure." Zorvok's forearms twitched. His pride had been wounded, and his ego demanded redemption. "She humiliated us yesterday," he muttered to his friends. "Today, she will fall. No one challenges me and walks away unscathed." The plan was ruthless. The cadets had prepared a series of escalating challenges designed to humiliate Maya in front of the entire classroom. They combined illusions, mental puzzles, and coordinated physical obstacles, anything that could unnerve her. The moment class began, the cadets sprang into action. A holographic battlefield materialized in the center of the room, filled with simulated explosions, collapsing buildings, and shadowy alien figures that lunged at her. Every cadet participated, subtly altering the simulation to disorient her. The human girl, Maya, didn't blink. She stepped into the simulation, scanning the battlefield with a strategist's mind. Her fingers danced across her portable device, analyzing patterns, predicting outcomes, and calculating optimal responses. Every illusion that moved toward her was dismantled with precise countermeasures. Shadows dissolved into harmless energy bursts. Structures stabilized instantly under her influence. One cadet tried to move faster than her calculations could follow, a massive, clawed hologram designed to trap her. But Maya anticipated the trajectory. With a swift gesture, she redirected the hologram into the floor, creating a harmless flash that left the cadets screaming in surprise. The class erupted in astonishment. Never had they seen someone respond so quickly, so flawlessly, to such a complex assault. Even the instructor raised a brow, impressed despite himself. Zorvok clenched his fists. He had expected resistance, but this was something else entirely. Maya was not only surviving, she was turning their tricks into demonstrations of her genius. Next, they escalated the challenge. They combined psychic attacks with physical traps, aiming to overload her mind. Holographic illusions shifted unpredictably. Cadets whispered alien words designed to confuse her perception. The air seemed to hum with energy, each pulse trying to shake her confidence. Maya paused only briefly. Her eyes narrowed as she assessed every threat. She deployed a neural harmonizer, a device she had modified herself to stabilize her senses. The psychic waves collided with the harmonizer and were reflected harmlessly, causing several cadets to stumble. The classroom gasped. The cadets had never faced a human capable of this level of adaptation. Their plan was failing in real time. Frustrated, Zorvok decided to target her socially. He whispered rumors about Maya to the rest of the cadets, that she had cheated in previous simulations, that she manipulated outcomes, that she was unworthy of attending the academy. Maya was prepared. Calmly, she pulled up her personal log, projecting clear evidence on the classroom's holoscreen. Every calculation, every decision, every strategy she had executed was documented. The cadets' eyes widened. Not only had she anticipated their attacks, but she had proof that every move she made was legitimate. By now, the instructor had stepped back, observing silently. The human girl was turning the classroom into a battlefield of intellect, strategy, and confidence. No one had ever seen such a combination in a cadet, alien, or human. Zorvok's pride shattered further. The cadets had one last tactic, a fully immersive illusion designed to overwhelm all five senses, to make Maya feel trapped, helpless, and outnumbered. The classroom darkened. The air thickened. Ghostly hands reached toward her. Phantom fire roared, and the entire room seemed to collapse around her. Maya's heartbeat remained steady. She tapped a sequence into her device, creating a counter-illusion that mirrored the attack. The phantom hands froze, the fire dissolved, and the room returned to normal. But she didn't stop there. She reflected the illusion toward the cadets themselves. Screams erupted. Chairs toppled. Consoles sparked. Every cadet who had tried to intimidate her was left scrambling to maintain their composure. For a moment, silence fell. The cadets could not believe what they had just witnessed. A human girl, alone, had not only survived the most elaborate trap the Academy had ever devised, but she had turned it into a spectacle that humiliated them instead. Zorvok, trembling with anger and disbelief, realized he was outmatched. Every attempt to assert dominance, every prank, every whisper had backfired spectacularly. Maya had anticipated, countered, and even exploited every tactic. The human girl took a deep breath and walked to her desk. She glanced around at the stunned cadets. "One lesson," she said softly but firmly, "never underestimate a human." The rest of the day passed with Maya excelling in every exercise, answering questions with unmatched precision and outperforming simulations designed for multiple cadets. Every cadet who had mocked her the previous day now avoided her gaze, unsure whether to admire or fear her. By the end of the day, the instructor dismissed the class. But the lesson had been learned not just from the curriculum, but from Maya herself. Humans were not weak. They were cunning, resilient, and capable of turning any challenge to their advantage. As the cadets left the classroom, whispers spread like wildfire. "She's not just clever, she's dangerous," one said. Another added, "I've never seen a human like her before. She makes all of us look foolish." And Maya? She simply smiled faintly, her mind already racing ahead. This was only the beginning. The alien cadets would escalate again, but she was ready. She had proven her intelligence, her skill, and her courage. The classroom would never be the same. And for Maya, the games had only just begun. The day began like any other at the Interstellar Academy, yet the air was charged with tension. Word had spread. The human girl, Maya, had humiliated the cadets twice already. Her reputation preceded her. Whispers of her intelligence, skill, and sheer audacity echoed through the halls. Even the most arrogant cadets glanced at her with a mix of curiosity and unease. Zorvok, the four-armed cadet who led the previous attacks, paced in his quarters, tentacles twitching with frustration. "Yesterday was unacceptable," he muttered, glaring at the holographic record of Maya's triumph. "She embarrassed us all. Today, we end this. Today, she pays." He convened a secret council of top cadets. Together, they devised a plan so complex it required precise coordination. Multiple layers of traps, combined simulations, and advanced psychic and holographic attacks. Every cadet was assigned a role, from subtle psychological manipulation to orchestrating massive illusions that could engulf the entire classroom. Meanwhile, Maya entered the academy's main hall with her usual calm demeanor. Her dark hair framed a face set in determined focus. She could sense the tension, could feel the invisible webs of schemes forming around her. But she did not hesitate, did not falter. She had anticipated this day, and she was ready. The instructor, Therian, entered and began the day's lecture. Advanced interstellar strategy and ethical decision-making in extreme combat scenarios. But even he seemed aware of the undercurrent of tension. The cadets' malicious intent hung in the air, thick and heavy. Almost immediately, the attacks began. Small distractions, whispers meant to confuse, and subtle alterations to her simulation interface were only the first layer. Maya responded with calm precision, neutralizing each attempt without drawing attention. Her fingers danced across her portable device, correcting manipulated data, stabilizing holographic projections, and countering illusions in real time. The cadets were stunned. Every tactic that had worked on other students failed against her. Even those with advanced combat training found themselves outmaneuvered and outthought. Zorvok escalated further. The classroom transformed into a battlefield of epic proportions. Towering alien war machines, collapsing structures, and phantom armies that moved unpredictably. Holographic explosions sent shocks through the floor, while the cadets attempted to coordinate attacks from multiple angles. Maya assessed everything with a strategist's eye. She deployed a combination of counter-illusions and predictive algorithms she had designed herself. Every attack that moved toward her disintegrated or was redirected harmlessly. Holographic war machines collapsed, phantom armies disappeared, and collapsing structures stabilized in midair. Seeing his plans fail, Zorvok tried the most audacious tactic yet, a synchronized multi-cadet attack. He coordinated a psychic wave to disrupt her focus while multiple cadets manipulated the holographic battlefield to confuse her perception. The classroom became a maelstrom of light, energy, and noise, designed to overwhelm any student. But Maya was unshaken. Her neural harmonizer, modified and enhanced overnight, allowed her to filter every distraction. Her analytical mind calculated probabilities faster than any cadet could anticipate. She turned the multi-cadet assault back against them. Their illusions collided, generating harmless flashes that left several cadets scrambling in confusion. A gasp of shock ran through the class. The cadets had never seen anyone neutralize a full-scale, coordinated attack. Some whispered among themselves, "She's not just clever, she's dangerous." Others, humiliated, avoided her gaze. Zorvok, enraged, decided to try a direct social attack. He spread false rumors about Maya's previous performances, alleging she had cheated simulations, manipulated results, and disrespected the Academy's code. His goal was simple: isolate her, make the class doubt her credibility, and force her into submission. Maya anticipated this. Calmly, she projected her personal log onto the classroom's hollow screen. Every action, every decision, every calculation was documented. The cadets watched in disbelief. The evidence was irrefutable. Her skill was not luck. It was ingenuity, preparation, and unmatched intelligence. By midday, the attacks had become more dangerous. Cadets tried to force her into physical traps within the holographic simulation. Walls that shifted unpredictably, platforms that disappeared beneath her feet, and phantom creatures designed to corner and intimidate. Maya responded with the elegance of a master strategist. Each trap was countered, each phantom neutralized, and each shifting floor stabilized. She manipulated the simulation, turning hazards into harmless energy displays, leaving the cadets scrambling to regain control. The classroom was filled with sparks, flashes, and the hum of advanced technology. Cadets who had once mocked her now stared in awe. Even the instructor could not help but be impressed. "Remarkable," he murmured. "She is truly extraordinary." Zorvok's patience broke. He decided to take the ultimate gamble, a fully immersive, multi-sensory illusion designed to paralyze Maya's mind and overwhelm her senses. The room darkened, the air thickened, and ghostly hands and roaring phantom creatures surrounded her. The cadets expected panic, failure, and submission. But Maya did not flinch. She activated her counter device, not only neutralizing the illusion, but reflecting it back toward the cadets. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and many cadets toppled in their seats. The entire classroom was in chaos, and the humans remained calm. Maya took a step forward. Her eyes scanned every cadet, and she spoke softly, her voice carrying the weight of command and certainty. "This ends today. Think twice before underestimating a human." The room went silent. Zorvok's face turned red with anger and disbelief. Every attempt to dominate, humiliate, and intimidate had backfired. Maya had turned the attacks into a demonstration of her brilliance. By the afternoon, the cadets were exhausted, not from lessons, but from trying and failing to break her. She had survived every attack, countered every trick, and humiliated those who had mocked her. The classroom dynamic had shifted completely. When the instructor dismissed the class, it was not just the end of the day, it was a statement. Maya had rewritten the rules. She had proven that humans were not weak, not fragile, and not to be underestimated. As the cadets filed out, whispers spread through the academy like wildfire. "Did you see what she did to the illusions?" One cadet murmured. "She didn't just survive, she made us look foolish." Another added, "She's a human, but she's smarter than all of us combined." Maya walked out calmly, her mind already anticipating the next challenge. This was only the beginning. She had survived, conquered, and sent a message that would echo through the academy for years to come. Humans are clever, resilient, and not to be underestimated. The classroom and the cadets would never be the same again. The classroom was silent, almost eerily so. The alien cadets knew that the human girl, Maya, had survived every challenge so far. Her skill, intelligence, and courage had become legendary within the academy. Whispers filled the hallways, and the tension in the air was thick enough to cut. Zorvok, the leader, paced back and forth, tentacles twitching with frustration. "She humiliated us again and again," he hissed to his fellow cadets. "Today we end it. She will pay for her insolence. Every cadet will see her place." He called for a secret council. Every top cadet contributed ideas for the ultimate humiliation, a combination of illusions, mental manipulations, environmental hazards, and social isolation. They would create a scenario so complex, so overwhelming, that no student, human or alien, could survive unscathed. Meanwhile, Maya entered the classroom with calm determination. She could sense the tension immediately. The cadets were desperate, and desperation made them careless. She smiled faintly, her mind already running simulations of possible traps and countermeasures. The instructor, Therian, began the lesson. Today's exercise, he said, will test your adaptability, creativity, and courage under extreme pressure. Failure is not an option. Almost immediately, the cadets launched their attack. Holographic illusions of massive collapsing structures, roaring beasts, and blinding flashes engulfed the classroom. Every cadet participated, subtly altering the environment to disorient Maya. Maya remained calm. Her eyes scanned the chaos, and her fingers flew across her portable device. She predicted every movement, every illusion, and every trap before it could even reach her. She neutralized the holographic beasts, stabilized collapsing structures, and redirected blinding flashes harmlessly toward the cadets. The cadets gasped. Every trick that had worked on others failed spectacularly. Maya turned their attacks into demonstrations of her skill, leaving them scrambling to regain control. Zorvok, furious, escalated further. He activated psychic waves designed to disrupt her focus, while simultaneously manipulating holographic platforms to collapse beneath her feet. The classroom became a whirlwind of motion, energy, and sound. But Maya was ready. She activated her neural harmonizer and deployed predictive countermeasures. Every psychic pulse was neutralized. Every collapsing platform was stabilized. She even reflected a portion of the holographic energy back at the cadets, causing minor chaos and knocking a few off their balance. By now, the instructor was watching silently, impressed despite himself. "Remarkable," he murmured. "This human is unlike any cadet I have trained." Frustration turned to desperation. Zorvok tried a direct social attack, spreading lies about Maya's previous performance and claiming she had manipulated outcomes unfairly. He hoped to isolate her and turn the class against her. Maya anticipated this. She calmly projected her personal logs onto the classroom's hollow screen, displaying every calculation, every strategy, and every decision she had made. The cadets were forced to see the truth. Her skill was undeniable, and their plan to discredit her collapsed. Zorvok was running out of options. He decided on one final, extreme measure, a fully immersive, multi-sensory illusion designed to overwhelm her mind and trap her in a phantom world. The room darkened. Ghostly hands, roaring phantom creatures, and collapsing stars surrounded her. Every cadet watched eagerly, expecting her to falter. Maya didn't even flinch. She activated her ultimate device, not only neutralizing the illusion, but turning it against the cadets themselves. The phantom creatures reversed. The collapsing stars exploded harmlessly in spectacular light shows, and the cadets were left disoriented, scrambling for stability. She took a slow step forward, her eyes scanning the room. "One final lesson," she said softly, her voice carrying authority and command. "Never underestimate a human." The room went silent. Zorvok's face burned with anger and humiliation. Every attempt to dominate, intimidate, or humiliate had failed. Maya had turned the final assault into a demonstration of her brilliance and courage. By the end of the day, the cadets were exhausted, mentally and physically. They had not defeated her. They had been outsmarted and outmaneuvered at every turn. The classroom dynamic had shifted permanently. Even the instructor, Therian, acknowledged her extraordinary ability. "You have shown creativity, courage, and intelligence beyond expectation," he said. "The Academy will remember this day." As the cadets left, whispers spread through the Academy like wildfire. "Did you see what she did?" one cadet asked. "She didn't just survive, she turned us into fools." Another cadet added, "I've never seen a human like her. She's smarter, faster, and braver than anyone here." Maya walked out with calm composure, her mind already analyzing the next challenge. This was only the beginning. She had survived, conquered, and sent a clear message. Humans are not weak. They are clever, resilient, and capable of extraordinary things when underestimated. The classroom would never be the same again, and Maya had proven that no alien cadet, no matter how skilled, should ever assume superiority over a human. The day after Maya's unprecedented victories, the Academy was in chaos. News of her brilliance had spread through every corridor, every dormitory, and even the instructor lounges. Alien cadets whispered nervously, casting glances at the human girl who had rewritten every expectation in the Academy. Zorvok, the leader who had attempted every trick to humiliate her, sat alone in his quarters, tentacles coiled tightly around the railing. His pride had been shattered, and he replayed every failed attempt in his mind. "She was human, and yet she defeated us all," he muttered. "We underestimated her, and now we pay the price." The cadets who had previously laughed at Maya were now hesitant, unsure how to interact with her. Some avoided eye contact. Others approached with a mix of awe and fear. Even the most arrogant cadets were forced to admit silently that Maya was exceptional. Meanwhile, Maya entered the classroom as usual, her presence commanding attention without a word. The room fell silent, not out of fear, but out of respect. She had become more than a student. She was a force to be reckoned with. The instructor, Therian, stood at the front of the room. "Today," he began, "we will reflect on the events of the past days. Maya has demonstrated extraordinary skill, courage, and intelligence. She has set a new standard for all cadets." A murmur ran through the cadets. Some tried to conceal it, but many could not hide their astonishment. The human girl who had once been underestimated had now become a benchmark for excellence in the Academy. The day's lessons began, but the energy in the classroom was different. Maya participated with calm precision, answering complex questions before they were fully asked, anticipating challenges, and demonstrating techniques that left even advanced cadets struggling to keep up. The alien cadets attempted to regain some pride by performing exceptionally themselves, but every action they took seemed measured against Maya's brilliance. Some cadets began to whisper among themselves, acknowledging that she was not just clever, she was strategically unmatched. Zorvok, seething but learning, decided to observe her closely. He noticed that Maya not only excelled individually, but also subtly guided the dynamics of the classroom. Her calm demeanor influenced others. Her precise actions set the tone. Cadets found themselves involuntarily following her lead, even those who had opposed her. By mid-afternoon, Maya had completed a series of simulations designed for advanced cadets. She completed them flawlessly, identifying optimal solutions that no other student could foresee. The cadets, once her tormentors, were forced to acknowledge her skill openly. Even outside the classroom, the reputation of a human girl was growing. Dormitories buzzed with her name, instructors discussed her methods, and visiting scholars requested demonstrations of her abilities. Her victories were not mere luck. They were the result of preparation, intelligence, and courage under pressure. Zorvok, though humiliated, realized something critical. Maya's success was not just in her reactions, it was in her strategy. She anticipated every attack, every challenge, every attempt to undermine her. Her mind worked like a precise algorithm, calculating outcomes and preparing counters before others even understood the moves being made. The Academy's leadership began to notice. Senior instructors convened to discuss her performance. "She is unlike any cadet we have ever trained," one remarked. "Her intellect, foresight, and composure are extraordinary." Another added, "If this human continues, she could set the standard for the entire interstellar curriculum." Maya, meanwhile, continued her routine, unfazed by the attention. She focused on her studies, on refining her skills, and on preparing for whatever challenges might come next. Every cadet who had attempted to humiliate her now approached her cautiously, offering help or guidance, not out of fear, but respect. By evening, the Academy's mood had shifted entirely. The alien cadets who had once plotted against her now whispered strategies and techniques inspired by her methods. Maya's influence had become undeniable. She had not just survived, she had elevated the standard for everyone around her. In private, Zorvok admitted his respect begrudgingly. "She is human, and yet she is far superior to anything I have faced," he said, staring at a holographic replay of her flawless maneuvers. "Perhaps I underestimated the potential of humans entirely." Maya's victories also sparked debates among the cadets. Some argued that humans were naturally resilient and intelligent, while others wondered how one human could outperform multiple advanced alien species. Her success forced everyone to reconsider long-held prejudices and assumptions about humans. By the end of the day, the classroom dynamic had transformed completely. Where once there was mockery and condescension, now there was curiosity, cautious respect, and even admiration. Maya had not only defended herself, but had reshaped the culture of the classroom. And somewhere in the shadows, Maya reflected quietly. She knew this was only the beginning. The cadets would attempt more, challenges would grow, and the Academy would continue to test her limits. But she was ready. She had proven that humans were not to be underestimated, and she had set a precedent that would echo throughout the Academy for years to come. The alien cadets, once her tormentors, now viewed her with a mixture of awe and caution. They had learned a fundamental lesson. Mocking a human was not only foolish, it was dangerous. As the lights dimmed and the cadets returned to their dormitories, Maya walked alone through the corridors, her mind already anticipating the next challenge. She had survived, conquered, and left an indelible mark on the Academy. Her reputation was cemented, her intelligence recognized, and her courage respected. The classroom and the Academy itself would never be the same again. And for Maya, this was only the beginning of a journey that would test her limits, challenge her skills, and demonstrate the extraordinary potential of humans in a galaxy dominated by aliens. The day had come. The alien cadets, led by Zorvok, were determined to regain their pride and assert dominance. The Academy was buzzing with anticipation. Even instructors whispered about the upcoming confrontation. For once, everyone in the classroom knew that Maya, the human girl who had outsmarted them all, would face her toughest challenge yet. Zorvok paced at the front of the room, tentacles twitching with restrained fury. "We've planned every possible attack," he hissed to the other cadets. "Today, she will finally submit. No human can withstand this." But Maya entered with her usual calm confidence. Her dark eyes scanned the classroom, noting every subtle movement, every glance, every whisper. She knew they had prepared something massive, something coordinated, and she was ready. Therian, the instructor, began the day's lesson, but quickly realized the class would be more than a lesson. It would be a battlefield of wits, strategy, and courage. He stepped back, observing as the cadets initiated their plan. The first attack was a psychological assault. Holographic illusions of failure, terror, and isolation surrounded Maya. Phantom creatures lunged at her. Collapsing structures loomed, and flashing lights disoriented. The cadets whispered telepathic threats, hoping to shake her focus. Maya's mind remained sharp. She deployed her neural harmonizer and projected counter-illusions that mirrored and neutralized the attacks. Phantom creatures dissolved harmlessly. Collapsing structures stabilized. Flashing lights were redirected toward the cadets themselves. A few of the cadets stumbled, caught off guard by the reversal. Seeing their first layer fail, Zorvok escalated. He activated a multi-cadet synchronized holographic assault. The room transformed into a massive battlefield with shifting terrains, phantom armies, and simulated disasters. Every cadet contributed, coordinating attacks to overwhelm her from every angle. But Maya moved like a master strategist. She analyzed each cadet's pattern, predicted their moves, and neutralized the illusions with precision. Holographic armies collapsed harmlessly, and the shifting battlefield stabilized under her control. The cadets could barely comprehend what was happening. Frustration turned to desperation. Zorvok attempted a direct psychic assault, hoping to disrupt her neural focus. Energy waves surged toward her mind, designed to confuse and paralyze. But Maya's harmonizer reflected the attack back, causing disorientation among the cadets themselves. The classroom erupted into chaos. Alarms blared. Consoles sparked. Chairs toppled. The cadets, once confident, scrambled to regain control. Maya remained composed, her eyes calm, her mind calculating the next move. Then came the social and psychological component. Zorvok spread false rumors, claiming she had cheated in previous simulations and manipulated results. His goal was to isolate her from potential allies. Maya anticipated this. Calmly, she projected her personal logs onto the classroom holoscreen, showing undeniable proof of her achievements. The cadets were forced to see the truth. Her skill, her strategy, and her intelligence were irrefutable. By midday, the final phase began, the ultimate test. The cadets combined every element, psychic, holographic, environmental, and social, into a single, massive, immersive illusion. The classroom transformed into a chaotic storm of collapsing stars, phantom armies, and shifting terrains. Every sense was overwhelmed. Maya did not panic. She deployed her ultimate countermeasure, a combination of predictive algorithms, counter-illusions, and her harmonizer. Every attack was neutralized or redirected. Phantom armies dissolved, collapsing stars exploded harmlessly, and the illusions reflected back onto the cadets. The cadets screamed in confusion. Chairs toppled, consoles malfunctioned, and the illusion's power seemed to backfire. Zorvok's face burned with frustration and humiliation. He had underestimated her once again. Maya walked calmly through the chaos. Her eyes locked on Zorvok. "One final lesson," she said softly but with authority. "Never underestimate a human." The cadets froze. For the first time, they realized the truth. Maya was not merely clever or lucky. She was strategic, fearless, and capable of turning any challenge to her advantage. The classroom fell silent. The once arrogant cadets now looked at her with awe and caution. Even Therian, the instructor, nodded in approval. "Remarkable," he murmured. "She has surpassed every expectation." Zorvok, breathing heavily, admitted defeat. Not just physically, but intellectually. He had planned every possible strategy, yet Maya had outsmarted them all. "She is extraordinary," he muttered, finally acknowledging her skill. By the end of the day, the cadets had learned a lesson they would never forget. Mocking or underestimating a human was not only foolish, it was dangerous. Maya had demonstrated that courage, intelligence, and strategy could overcome arrogance and strength, even in a room full of highly trained alien cadets. As the students filed out of the classroom, whispers filled the halls. "She's brilliant. I've never seen anyone like her. She's changed everything." Maya walked through the corridors, her calm demeanor hiding the whirlwind of strategies already forming in her mind. The academy had tested her, challenged her, and attempted to break her. And yet, she had not only survived, she had conquered, leaving a permanent mark on every cadet present. The classroom and the cadets would never be the same again. And Maya, the human girl who had risen above every challenge, knew this was only the beginning. The days after Maya's ultimate victories passed in a whirlwind. The academy that had once been filled with arrogance, mockery, and alien superiority now hummed with whispers of awe and caution. Every cadet, from the most arrogant to the quietest observer, understood that the human girl had changed the dynamics of their entire training environment. Zorvok, once prideful and dismissive, now moved cautiously around the classroom. He had lost more than battles. He had lost his certainty, his assumptions, and, in a way, his identity as the top cadet. In private, he admitted the truth. Maya was extraordinary. "She is human, and yet she surpasses us all," he muttered, replaying the countless ways she had outsmarted him and the other cadets. The other cadets, some previously arrogant and mocking, approached her now with respect. A few even sought her advice on strategies, simulations, and problem-solving methods. For the first time in the Academy's history, a human had not just survived alien scrutiny. She had become a benchmark for excellence. Maya, however, remained calm and composed. She had no desire for vengeance anymore. She had proven her point, and the recognition she received was a byproduct, not her goal. She continued her studies, refining her skills, exploring advanced simulations, and preparing for challenges yet unseen. The instructors, too, began to take notice. Therian, in particular, praised her openly. "You have set a precedent that will shape this academy for years to come," he said. "Your ingenuity, courage, and resilience are a testament to the untapped potential of humans." Even visiting scholars, observing her work and her methods, were astonished. Reports spread throughout the galaxy. A human girl had risen above the finest alien cadets, mastering every challenge with intelligence and courage. Her legend grew quickly, reaching distant worlds, inspiring awe, and sparking debates about human potential. Meanwhile, the cadets who had once attempted to humiliate her were forever changed. Some felt shame at their arrogance. Others felt admiration for her brilliance. Conversations in the corridors shifted from gossip to strategy, with Maya's methods becoming a model for learning and problem-solving. Zorvok, though humbled, approached her one afternoon. "You have shown us what a human can do," he admitted, his voice tinged with respect. "We underestimated you, and we paid for it." Maya smiled faintly. "It wasn't about proving superiority," she said. "It was about showing that humans can adapt, learn, and overcome. That's all anyone should expect." Her calm, confident demeanor inspired more than respect. It inspired change. The alien cadets began to approach training differently, learning from her example. The academy itself began to evolve, incorporating strategies, devices, and methodologies inspired by her ingenuity. Over time, Maya's influence extended beyond the classroom. She demonstrated the power of intelligence, creativity, and resilience in a galaxy often dominated by assumptions and prejudice. Her story became a symbol. Even in a world of superior aliens, humans could rise, excel, and leave a lasting mark. And yet, Maya continued quietly. She focused on learning, on preparing for challenges that no one could yet imagine, and on showing that courage and intelligence were universal strengths, not defined by species. The classroom where she had first arrived, once a place of mockery and arrogance, had transformed into a space of mutual respect and high standards. The cadets had learned to value ability over prejudice, and they would never forget the lesson she taught. Even Zorvok, who had once plotted against her, found himself reconsidering his assumptions. "Perhaps we have underestimated humans entirely," he whispered, reflecting on every lesson, every strategy, and every counterattack that had humbled him. Maya walked through the corridors, her eyes calm but sharp, aware of the subtle shifts in attitude around her. She had survived, she had conquered, and she had left a permanent mark on the academy. Her legacy was not just in her victories. It was in the lessons she had imparted, the respect she had earned, and the change she had inspired. A single human girl had shown that courage, intelligence, and determination could defy expectations, reshape perceptions, and leave an enduring impact on an entire generation of cadets. The academy would never be the same. And Maya? She had only begun her journey, ready to face challenges far beyond the classroom, leaving behind a legacy that would echo across the galaxy for years to come.